Danielle. Does that mean? I want to welcome everyone to the June 9th, 2010 Board of Zoning Appeals. Terry?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board and visitors, I have the honor of introducing a very special young lady this evening. Olivia McCord is a recent transplant to the Blackman community of Rutherford County. She's 14 years old and will be attending Blackman High School in the fall. She and her family moved here recently from California so that she and her sister Beth could pursue careers in the music industry. I met Olivia 2.5 weeks ago and was very impressed with her, and it was immediately obvious she was very talented. Since she's been in our community, she has volunteered for various nonprofit events with her talents, and we are very fortunate that she has agreed to sing the national anthem for us tonight. I think you'll be hearing a lot from this young lady in the future, and if you'll please stand, Olivia will sing the Star Spangled Banner for us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. Joe, would you lead the Pledge of Allegiance for us? Thank you. Sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Again, I want to welcome each one of you. We have it's bad weather outside, and I know that it took a little effort for some of you to get in out of the rain. I'd like to call the Board of Zoning Appeals for June 9th, 2010, and ask you to call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Here.
Joe Crowell.
Here.
Linda Dansby.
Present.
Joe Machodo. Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Tony Webb. Thane Cantrell. Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum, and Joe Crowell will be voting tonight in the absence of our regular member.
Thank you very much. Today we'll hear the staff notes on each application, and while that's happening, I'd like for a representative for the application to come forward, and we'll hear any extra comments you may have, any information and questions from the board. Then we'll have a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak for or against the application, and we'll close the public hearing and have a motion. We'll try to give you the best decision we can make tonight. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting? I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Yes.
Joe Crowell. Linda Dansby,
Yes.
Jerry Sartone.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
First application is by Patricia Nash. Oh, I need to make an announcement. The application by James Lassiter has been deferred until next month. If you are here for that application, it has been deferred, and we'll hear it next month.
Difficulties tonight because it's not connected to the mouse. I don't know how to advance through the slides. Maybe if they can fix it upstairs. The first application, Patricia Nash, application BZA 2010-18, involves the property located at 10201 Paw Paw Springs Road, and it's a request for variance relief to allow an additional 412 square feet of accessory structure area for a total of 2912 square feet in the R15 zone. It's a 5.2 acre parcel, and it's zoned residential 15. There's a single-family home constructed on the property, as well as a 40 by 60 foot, 2,400 square foot detached garage being constructed on the property. The applicant would like to install an in-ground swimming pool, and it will cause the site to exceed the 2,500 square foot limit of 412 square feet. The applicant is simply asking for a variance for the small square footage of 412. However, because it does not meet the criteria for a variance, staff recommends denial. And this area is fairly rural in nature. The request, even with the construction of the pool and the detached garage, it will still continue to meet the 20% lot coverage requirement, and it will not impair the light or air to adjacent properties if the board decided to approve it. We posted a sign on the property, and that concludes our presentation.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here representing this request? Thank you. Would you come forward to the podium, please, and we'll ask the board if they need to have questions for you. Just state your name and your address, please.
Patricia Nash. Did you say my address?
Yes, ma'am.
10201 Paw Paw Springs, Arrington, Tennessee. It's in Rutherford County.
Would you like to tell us just a little bit about your application, what you want to do?
I have requested a pool. I think she pretty well,
I just wanted to know if you have anything to add.
no, just would like a swimming pool.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Hearing me?
No, Jerry.
Swimming pool.
Jerry, we can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
Are you doing a pool house with this?
No, we're not planning a pool house because we have a full basement. We'll have a door
Okay,
that will be used for that.
so this should be all of it then. That includes all of the accessory structures, just the pool and then nothing else at this time.
No, nothing else at this time. Probably not in the future.
Any other questions?
No plans.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll open this up for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak for or against the application. I'll close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion. Is that better?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Have a motion for approval and a second. Any questions? Call the roll.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Linda Dansby,
Yes,
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you. Next application is by Larry Skinner of 2439 Shoemaker Road. Would you like to give us your report?
Sure. Application 2010-20, filed by Larry Skinner, involves the property located at 2439 Shoemaker Road. It's a 21-acre parcel, and it's located in the residential 15 zone. They are seeking conditional use approval for the establishment of a catfish farm, a pay-to-fish lake with concession stand, variance relief from the development standard requiring double bituminous parking areas, and variance relief from the development standard requiring a fire hydrant within 1,000 feet of a proposed development. The applicant plans to, his residence is located on the property. He plans to continue to reside on that property. He is not proposing any additional structures other than potentially digging up another pond to stock with catfish. He would like to have the opportunity for people to be able to come on Saturdays and Sundays and pay to fish and catch fish at the pond. The staff report indicated that he would be operating during the months of September through November. That's actually incorrect, I believe, and I'll ask you whenever you come up. I believe it's May through November that he's asking for, but we did not recommend conditions during the time period for which he is seeking. There is a 12 by 16 building on the site that's already on the site that he will be selling bait and concessions from. He will also like to install a 24 square foot sign advertising the business. He's not proposing any additional ingress and egress. He'd like to use the existing driveway. He's asking for a variance for to be able to use gravel instead of having to pave, because this is a low intense use. It's not going to create a lot of traffic during the week, and it will keep its agricultural area intact. The hours of operation, again, will be Saturdays and Sundays, 6 a.m. to sundown. And he will have he will supply a portalette for restrooms for his customers. He's seeking a variance for the fire hydrant requirement because developments are required to provide a fire hydrant within 1,000 feet. He's not really constructing anything. However, we did contact the utility district, and they indicated that the 1,500 feet of main along Shoemaker cannot accommodate or handle the installation of a fire hydrant at this location. The nearest fire hydrant is at the corner of Rocky Glade and Taylor Lane, and they indicated that the installation of a fire hydrant in this area is not feasible. Staff recommends approval with the conditions outlined in the staff report. We posted a sign on the property, and we've received 2 phone calls in opposition of the request.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone here representing this request? Would you come forward, please, and state your name and address?
We did receive 1 call in favor. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Would you state your name and address?
Larry Skinner, 2439 Shoemaker Road, Eagle, Tennessee.
Would you like to tell us what you got planned? And I know she gave us some of the
Well,
information.
it's basically what she said. I plan on retiring here in a couple of years. I want to start at the catfish farm here now and see if I could make any extra money at it, people's fish. Just like maybe set up a Coke machine or something down there, and like have some worms in the refrigerator and kind of sell those for people to come and fish,
Will there be any age limit?
Huh?
Be any age limit?
No, sir. No.
Any questions from the board?
I got kids running all over the place out there now, coming over to fish.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, just from the staff. You said you had 2 calls against it. Do you know what their concerns were?
Their concerns were a commercial operation, even after it was described to him, and that, it would still remain as his residence, and he's trying to keep the rural feel with it by, not paving and not having a lot of signage. They were concerned about a commercial operation being located in the area.
All right, thank you.
I talked to a couple of them, and that's what they was kind of concerned about. I told them it wasn't, Right now, I probably got a half-acre pond. It's And I'm gonna dig another one. It's probably gonna be close to an acre, maybe an acre and a quarter. I've got it stocked, but you have to buy fish. You have to buy so many fish to put in to have a pay lake, according to TWRA. You know, you have to have fish in there where people catch them.
You wouldn't have very many people fishing the lake of the pond because you would be using it.
You had to.
People coming because you wouldn't have a pond large enough to grow it.
No, you could. You had to buy them. You had to buy the fish. Yes, sir. Yeah, you buy them 1 to 3 pounds, or you. No, sir, no.
Anything else?
I have a question. Mr. Skinner, how many people do you expect to be there at any one time? Would there be a limit to the number of people so that the traffic would not be?
Right now, it varies. I've went and saw some of them. You know, sometimes there's 5 or 6 people there for 2 or 3 hours, then they'll leave, and there'll be 2 or 3 more come in. It just depends on the area as to how well it goes. You know, I really don't see over 10, 12 people there at one time, you know.
Okay. And your proposal is only for Saturday and Sunday?
Right now, till I retire, if it does good, then I would like to come back and maybe open it up 4 or 5 days.
And then from 6 a.m. and at some point, that's going to be pretty dark.
Yeah.
But you're limiting it just from May to, also May to November?
March to October was what I
March
really
to October?
March to
Okay.
October.
All right.
I don't want to be down there when it's cold.
Well, I think that we should add that to our staff comments then, March to October, so that we realize that it's not a permanent, that it's sort of a seasonal use and won't have a huge commercial impact on the neighborhood being open all year round. And I ask that you, when you're doing this, if it's approved, to consider that it is a residential area.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much. This time I'll open for a public hearing for anyone that'd like to speak in favor or opposed. Commissioner?
How y'all doing? I'm Ron Williams, commissioner from out there. I know this sometimes is described as a residential area, but it's not what one would think as a residential area. I think Larry's place sits back a fourth of a mile or better from the road. He sits back a good ways off the road, where as well as a lot of the other houses in this. There's farms and I've hauled hay all up and down Shoemaker and all around out there over the years. Still a lot of that. So I like to see agribusiness as opposed to a lot of other things we get up here. And I don't know where this fits in, whether they had to be up here or not be up here, but they are. So I would encourage you, hope you, that you can approve his operation, because it is such a low impact to the area. And he's just wanting to do it as a kind of a supplement for retirement, and having something that has an agri base out there as a business is something I would really hope that you could support, particularly out in the more less populated areas out there. So, but nobody's called me. I know they've called in up there, but I generally, when they're real mad, they generally get in touch with me. So I haven't had any calls on it, and all the other people out there that are doing similar things, I think, are doing well with this, and I'd like to encourage you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing. I entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval with staff comments with the addition of the March through October seasonal use.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Yes.
Joe Crowell. Yes. Linda Dansby.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you. Next application is by Eugene Cantrell, 914 Twin Oak Drive. Do we have anyone here?
Application Application 2010-22, filed by Eugene Cantrell. It involves the property located at 94 Twin Oak Drive. It's a .83 acre parcel and it's zoned residential 15. Mr. Cantrell's double-wide mobile home burnt in February 2010. He would like to replace the double-wide with a Type B single-wide mobile home on the property. Our zoning resolution requires Type Bs on lots measuring less than 5 acres to obtain a conditional use permit from the Board of Zoning Appeals. The applicant is intending on residing in the structure. Staff posted the sign at the site and inspected properties, or visually inspected properties surrounding Mr. Cantrell's property, and they were Type B single-family homes as well as small single-family detached homes. So this introduction of a Type B in this area would not be detrimental to the surrounding properties and would not discourage development in accord with our regulations. It will be served by water and septic, and staff recommends conditions that the board consider, and we recommend approval of application 2010-22.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and we've not received any phone calls regarding this application.
Thank you. We have someone here representing this request. Would you come forward and give us your name and address, please?
Eugene Cantrell, 914 Twin Oak Drive. My house burned down when about February, middle of February, and I bought another mobile home that I'd like to try and put in the same place that it burned down at. It's the same length and everything the other one were, the old one. I'm ready to try and get another one now. Everything. I already bought the mobile home and everything.
Any questions?
So, Mr. Cantrell, you're just going to, from where your previous home burned, you're just replacing this for
Yes.
what you're doing?
Yes, sir.
Thank,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Cantrell.
Yes, sir.
Let's open this for a public hearing for anyone who would like to speak in favor or in opposition to this request. So give us your name and address, please.
My name is Tim Loki. I live at 122 Twin Oak Drive. Me and my brothers own 5 pieces of ground right around this trailer. And I was going to come up here and tell you not to put him in that side of the town, but he's a good guy. I mean, he could live in my house if he wanted to, but he's a good guy, so I'm going to ask you to let him have it.
Anyone else?
My name is Alan McAdoo, and that is in Robert P. District, but I have been following that project through, and simply it is his trailer burned, and all he's trying to do is replace what he got. All the utilities and everything are there, and he's been out there for 13, 14 years, and I doubt if you find anybody in that area that said anything against it. They just want him to get home. So I am definitely for it and hope you pass it.
Thank you, Mr. McAdoo. Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher. Yes. Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Linda Dansby. Yes. Jerry Sartain.
Yes,
Motion
it
carried,
is
sir.
approved. Next application is by Jack McCord, 2501 Blackman Road.
Application 2010-5 filed by Jack McCord involves the property located at 2501 Blackman Road. The property is owned by Matthew Whitaker Henderson, and it's a .65 acre property located in the retail and wholesale trade zone. This property was rezoned to resale and wholesale trade for a gasoline and service station in 1998. However, that was never established. The property is vacant, and the applicant would like to have the opportunity to each day move his mobile food unit to the site between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. with the possibility of extending into the lunch hours to serve like coffee and sandwiches. There will be no like seating. It will be completely mobile where people will just swing in, pick up their coffee, and then exit out onto Burnt Knob. And he's trying to use the existing layout of the property where there's a connection, the gravel connects to both Blackman and Burnt Knob. We had some concerns about the right-of-way. We believe that we have resolved it, but we have recommended the board to consider a condition to make sure that if they do approve the application, to consider in placing a recommendation upon the resolution of the right-of-way at Burnt Knob Road. They're not proposing any permanent structures. There won't be any on-site facilities for trash or even restroom facilities. The applicant does live just down Blackman Road, and those things will be taken care of by that resident. He's seeking long-term approval up to 2 years. However, staff's recommending, in its recommended conditions, we say the permit would be valid for a year with a possibility of a 1-year extension. That's consistent with a previous approval for a similar use that was located on a commercial site on Jefferson Pike. Staff finds that the application meets the conditions for conditional use or criteria for conditional use, and we recommend approval. We posted a sign on the site. We have received several phone calls, one regarding the right-of-way concerns, and then an adjacent property owner has asked that the property be cleaned up, and as well as a fence installed along the property lines.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you give us your name.
My name is Jack McCord. I live at 2622 Blackman Road. What we're going to do with this lot is I'm going to come in and clean it, of course, so it's going to make it a nice looking lot, and we're going to put a drive-through espresso and panini stand there. It's a really good looking orange trailer called the Sunrise Cafe. We're having it custom built in Georgia. We haven't even received it yet. That's a whole nother story. We're waiting for our trailer, and I think it's going to just add to the Blackman area. It's going to give people somewhere to stop, pick up a cup of coffee, a good panini sandwich on the way into work, a granita, a muffin, something like that. It's just going to be a drive-through right now, see how it works, and operate it from about 6 in the morning. I'm going to try to get down there unless there's thunder and lightning and I can't get out, but I live 8 houses down the street. I can see the lot from my front porch. And I just think it'll be a good add to that neighborhood to have that there for people. So,
will this be a trailer you'll pull there every morning, or you will leave it there?
No, I'm going to pull it there. I don't want to leave it out there. I don't want it to get vandalized or anything.
And what do you do for power?
For power right now, I'm going to be using a large generator. And what I'm going to propose to do is if this lot works out after about 30 days, I've inquired with the power company to see about getting a temporary power pole put in there. So. And it'll be perfectly placed where my trailer is, and we'll have an 18-foot power pole put in with a line going to the transformer. I talked to the power company, and they said that would be fine as long as I got my permit, got it all approved. I don't want to pay to have that done in the beginning, so I bought a generator. I want to make sure that we can make enough money there to live off of, and it works before I invest any money into the property, because I'm leasing the property out from the Hendersons. So. It'd be nice if it worked, and someday maybe it could become a permanent structure, a drive-through there. We come from the West Coast, and there's always a drive-through coffee stand wherever you go, and here you have to go to Starbucks to get a drive-through coffee. So, and the coffee that we're going to serve is going to be good quality coffee. And hopefully it's going to work out.
Do you have any questions of the board?
locations. Is it, have you decided which one you're interested in?
The first one.
The first one.
Actually, that's where I wanted to be, and then I thought maybe if I got shot down on one, I'd put my second best choice where I'd want to be. I want to be as far away from the entrance, and I'm going to put an enter and exit only sign so that I can at least accommodate 4 or 5 cars actually up on the property so they're not coming out onto the road. That's in hopes that I'll have 4 to 5 cars lined up at a time to get my product, but that was my concern, and I thought might be yours. I want to make sure there's enough room to get everybody off the road. It doesn't block anybody going up to the stop sign.
Is this a walk-up window? Or
No, it's drive-up. I have a walk-up window on the other side for doing events, so if I go do like the 4th of July festival down in Nashville, it has a concession window, but I had them build me a drive-up window on the opposite side because I was anticipating trying to do something like this.
So there won't be any congregation of people?
No,
just be
I guess
pass through?
Yeah, I can't stop people from walking up. I could just tell them it's a drive-through.
No, that's your intent.
My intent is for drive-through, come in, get them out in 30 seconds to a minute and a half so that they can hit the road and go to work.
And I guess one of my concerns, I think there's a residential house next door. Is there one fairly close? Just when you're using your generator, will you be very close to the house?
No,
because those can be pretty noisy.
As far away from his house pretty much as possible, because I'm in that front corner. He's all the way at the end of the property and in the back. And the other house is kitty corner, and it's quite a ways away from where I'm at. And like I said, the generator hopefully will be something temporary because it'll be tough for me to run that thing every day, and the gas, and just, I want to have a power pole. That's my goal.
Okay, and it looks like no Sunday sales at all?
Probably not. No, I don't want to work 7 days a week anymore.
Okay,
so
just wanted to be clear for the record.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Keith?
Yeah, question or two. Where you got this proposed here, the drive is not there, but it's going to be, you're going to be entering from Blackman Road and exiting onto Burnt Knob?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's just going to kind of be slanted on that lot, so how you got it proposed?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it slanted. I mean, I have dreams of like landscaping that corner and making it look nice and putting that trailer in a good spot if it works out. But I'm gonna place it to make it as convenient as possible for people to come in and then at least leave a car's length when they leave my window to prepare to go out on Burnt Knob without backing things up. So if I have to adjust it 10 feet forward or backwards, I'll adjust it.
Well, I'm all for it. I just know that right there, that intersection right there can be pretty congested. I just want to make
For
sure.
a little bit, yeah. We get quite a few cars there. We sit out on the front porch and have coffee and watch the traffic. And that's kind of why I chose that location, because it's a fantastic spot.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
This time I'll open for a public hearing for anyone that'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. If you'll come forward and give your name. I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve upon resolution of the right-of-way with 1 year only and a 1-year review. And that way, if there's any concerns of traffic or anything from the neighbors, then that can be addressed by staff. So I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion for approval and a second.
If
Call the roll,
I
please.
can clarify your motion, Linda, I got the, upon review of the right-of-way and getting that resolved.
And then
I heard
1
for
year
only. What did you say
only
after
with
that?
1 year can be reviewed by staff. And then if there are any issues, they can address those.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Linda Dancy,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carried, sir.
It is approved. Our next application is by Jake Lloyd for conditional use permit to allow temporary sale of fireworks in a C2 zone.
Application 2010-24, filed by Jake Lloyd, involves the property located at the corner of Shelbyville Highway and Oak Meadow Drive. It's part of a 10.31 acre parcel, Zone C2. The property is owned by Charlie Mitchell. They are seeking a conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks in the C2 zone. And this applicant has appeared before you for several years for different sites, but staff has reviewed the application. It's very similar to previous requests. We've included recommended conditions for the board to consider, and we recommend approval. And it's a temporary conditional use permit. So.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? Would you come forward, please, and tell us what you're doing?
Basically, we're just wanting to set up a fireworks tent
Excuse
for...
me, if you could state your name and address for the record first, please.
My apologies. My name is Jake Lloyd, and my address is 4929 Steelwood Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37220. So, we have had fireworks tents in Rutherford County for years and years and years. I don't know how long, a long time. And traditionally, we've always had them over in Walter Hill, and this year we decided to try one in a different place. Well, we're going to try the Walter Hill too, but one additional one, and we wanted it on the other side of town, and so we decided to try one over here at off 231 in Meadow Drive, and just see how it did. And it's a temporary use. Will be set up for 2 weeks. I don't have a whole lot to add. We're more than willing to do whatever we need to do.
Just ask the staff, have we had any complaints on their things in the past?
No.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll open this for a public hearing. Anyone like to speak in favor or in opposition? I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve and a second. Call a roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Yes.
Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Linda Dansby. Jerry Sartain.
Yes,
Motion carries.
it is approved. Next application again is by Mr. Jake Lloyd for temporary sale of fireworks in a C2 zone.
Application 2010-25 filed by Jake Lloyd involves the property owned by FJB Limited Partnership, and it's located at 5830 Lebanon Pike. It's a 2.4 acre parcel that's zoned commercial too. And they are seeking the same use, a temporary fireworks stand. And the details of the application are similar to the previous one, and I'll spare you. And we recommend approval of the temporary conditional use. And the site is actually, you have a landscape business established at the site, plumbing business, several others, but this is temporary in nature. So,
Mr. Lloyd, would you like to come up again, please?
Jake Lloyd, 4929 Steelwood Drive, Nashville, Tennessee. This site is actually, last year we had it at Dollar General, and we just had no visibility. So we decided to see where we could move it to, and this lot that we're proposing has much better visibility, and that's our primary purpose for moving. It seems to have plenty of room. It's quite a big lot. So anyways, I don't really have a whole lot to add, but thank you for that last one. Appreciate it.
Any questions?
Just right here on the highway, I'm familiar with this site. Is it going to be, I know where the welding shop is, and the landscape is just going to kind of be right there in that gravel parking lot next to it, between those two? Is that where it's going to be?
Well, it's going to be actually, if you're coming from here, traveling to there, when you first get there and you pull in the lot before that first building, which I think is a welder that works in there.
Welding shop, yes.
Okay. If you took a right there, as soon as you pull through the drive and you hit the opening, so to speak, it'll be right there along the right.
Okay.
We've definitely didn't want it to block traffic and create problems for anybody that was currently there or ourselves or anybody else.
All right, thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll open for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. Commissioner?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm the commissioner out there in that area. I've had no complaints or, excuse me, Jack Black. I've had no complaints or calls about the applicant, and I politely ask you to approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion. Have a motion for approve and a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher. Yes. Joe Crowell. Yes. Linda Dansby. Yes. Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
It is approved. Next application we have is by Paige Montgomery for a conditional use permit for horse boarding and equestrian educational and therapeutic services in an R15 zone.
Application 2010-26 filed by Paige Montgomery involves the property located at 3415 East Jefferson Pike. It's a 35-acre parcel. She's seeking conditional use permit for horse boarding and equestrian educational and therapeutic services in the R15 zone. You can see in the staff report that we've divided the report into two requests, and the applicant is not planning on building any additional structures. She wants to use the existing agricultural buildings that are already on the property. She will continue to keep the 14 acres of old growth cedar trees that's located towards the rear of the property. And she also would like the opportunity to have a small sign, which would be permitted under agricultural uses, for the advertising vacancy for a stall if one should arise. Staff finds that the application meets the conditions or criteria for conditional use approval, and we recommend approval.
Any calls?
We've not received any phone calls, and we posted a sign at the site.
Do we have anyone representing this request? Please come forward. If you don't mind, just state your name and address and tell us what you got planned.
I'm Paige Montgomery, 3415 East Jefferson Pike, Las Casas, Tennessee. And the facility currently has a 20-stall barn on it. I just want to rent out maybe 4 to 5 stalls, if that, just to offset the cost of my horses that I'll have there. I want to open up a therapeutic riding program. I'll be registered through NARA, which is a therapeutic riding course that I'll have to go through to get approved and everything. And I'll start the facility next May. I attend Western Kentucky University, and we'll be finishing up my courses there in May, and then I'll be moving to the property to start that.
Any questions? Keith?
Yes, ma'am. So in other words, there'll be no change to the, you wouldn't know you were there other than you're going to have a sign there saying that what you're offering, right?
Yes, sir. I'll have to put up a round pin, but it can be taken. It's not going to be a permanent structure.
I understand, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. I'll open for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I live directly across the road from the applicant. Mr. Greg Andrews, he's in the audience here. I don't know if I'd spoken with him, and he would be the most one that would be directly affected, because the way the land lays and where the barn is in his home, he would be the one that most likely would be directly affected. It's pretty much so off the road. It blends in with the area. Miss Montgomery, she come to me and she went, I told her to go around and talk to the neighbors, and she spoke with everybody around within the 500 feet distance, which is set forth by the Board of Zoning. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Ted. Did you need to get my name? All right. Well, anyway, I applaud the young lady for having the vision to have something in line for her when she gets out of college. She told me she was going to be graduating within one more year from Western Kentucky, and I applaud her for what she's wanting to do there. I definitely think it'll be an asset to the community. I live, and like I said, I live directly across the road from it, and I've had no problem with it. And as long as she goes by the conditions set forth by the Board of Zoning here, I politely ask you to approve it. Thank you. And my name is Jack Black, and I am the commissioner of that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion. Have a motion by Joe to approve, a second by Keith. Call a roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Yes.
Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Linda Dansby.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes,
Motion carried.
it is approved. Next application is by Absolute Fireworks to allow temporary sale of fireworks in a retail and wholesale trade zone.
Hi. Application 2010-27, filed by Absolute Fireworks, involves property owned by Montgomery Turner. It's the location of the Walter Hills Shopping Center Dollar General Store. It involves, this property is located at 5975 Lebanon Pike. It's a 2.84 acre site that is zoned retail and wholesale trade zone. They are seeking conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks in the retail and wholesale trade zone. They've actually, Absolute Fireworks has operated fireworks stands in the county for several years. We've not received any phone calls and complaints of any of their stands in the past. A fireworks stand was established on the site last year by another vendor, but the applicant is seeking approval for this year. We have recommended conditions, and we find that it meets the criteria for conditional use and recommend approval.
Thank you. Do you have anyone here representing this request? Please come forward. If you please give us your name and address. You got it down.
I got that. I'm Julie Smith, and I live at 9155 Paw Paw Springs Road in Arrington, 37014. And like she said, I think she covered it. We have sold fireworks in Rutherford County for several years now, and we are just looking to get on that edge of town.
You have any questions? Thank you. Since we got 3 or 4, if you just want to sit over there, we'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion. Motion by Keith. Joe, second. Call a roll, please.
Keith Bratcher. Joe. Yes. Joe Crow. Linda Dansby.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. It is approved. Next application again is by Absolute Fireworks for allow the temporary sale of fireworks in a C2 zone.
Application 2010-28, filed by Absolute Fireworks, involves property owned by Harold Vaughn. It's a C2 commercial property that is 15 acres in size and located at 9243 Old Nashville Highway. They are seeking conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks in the C2 zone. All of the details are similar to the other requests. This is actually a site that the applicant has operated from every year for several years. and we find that it meets the criteria for a temporary conditional use permit and recommend approval.
Paw Paw Springs Road, Arrington, 37014. We've had this site for, I think, 6 or 7 years, and we've never had any issues there. It's a gigantic lot with nothing on it, so it's pretty easy to operate there.
Any questions? Thank you. I'll open this application for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. Close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion to approve and a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher. Yes. Joe Crowell. Yes. Linda Dansby.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you. It is approved. Next application, again, Absolute Fireworks for the temporary sale of fireworks in a retail and wholesale trade zone.
Application 2010-29 filed by Absolute Fireworks involves property owned by Nirav Patel. The property is located at 5855 Shelbyville Highway. It's a 2-acre site in the retail and wholesale trade zone. They are seeking conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks. This is a site that the applicant has operated a fireworks stand in previous years, and we've received no complaints on that site, and they meet the criteria for temporary conditional use approval, and we recommend approval.
Ms. Smith?
I'll be able to say my address. Julie Smith, 9155 Paw Paw Springs Road, Arrington, Tennessee, 37014. This is a site we've had for a while, and we haven't had any complaints or issues there. We have a good relationship with the owner of the C&E Market.
Any questions? Thank you. We'll we'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. Close the public hearing, entertain a motion. I have a motion by Joe to approve. Keith, a second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher. Joe Crowell. Linda Dansby. Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you. It is approved. And our final application tonight by Absolute Fireworks for temporary sale of fireworks in a commercial planned zone.
Well, this is our next to our final one. Okay. Application 2010-30, filed by Absolute Fireworks, involves property owned by Wendell Jones. This property is located at 2911 Highway 99. It's a 3.35-acre site that's in the commercial plan zone. They are seeking conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks in the commercial plan zone. The details are similar to all of the firework applications submitted by this applicant. This is a new site. There is a fire hydrant located within 200 feet of the actual stand location on the site. We find that it meets the criteria for conditional use permit, and we recommend approval.
Julie Smith, 9155 Paw Paw Springs Road, Arrington, Tennessee, 37014. This is a new site for us. However, we would like to get on that side of town. We don't have anything over there going out 99, and I know that it's growing in population, and we would just like to serve them on the 4th.
Any questions? Thank you. I'll open for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak in favor or in opposition. Close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move for approval.
Linda's moved for approval, second by Joe. Please call a roll.
Keith Bratcher. Yes. Joe Crowell. Yes. Linda Dansby.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next application is by Josh McNeil from TNT Fireworks for a conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks in the retail and wholesale trade district.
Application 2010-31, filed by Josh McNeil of TNT Fireworks, involves the property owned by Love's Truck Stop Center. It's located at 6137 Epps Mill Road. It's a 9.5-acre site and a zone retail and wholesale trade. They are seeking conditional use permit to allow the temporary sale of fireworks in this zone. They have operated at the site for several years. We've received no complaints. We find that they meet the criteria for conditional use approval and recommend approval. That concludes our presentation.
Thank you. Is anyone here representing this request? Would you state your name and your address and offer any extra information for us?
I'm Clint Castile, and my address is 4511 Hilton Drive, Florence, Alabama, 35630. And we're just trying to renew this location for this year's fireworks season.
Not any issues in the past?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions by the board? Thank you. I'll open it for a public hearing for anyone that'd like to speak in favor or opposition. Close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
I make a motion for approval. Second.
Have a motion by Joe for approval, second by Keith. Call a roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Yes.
Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Linda Dancy.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
It is approved. That concludes all the applications we have for this evening. Unless we have any other business, we are adjourned.